purely looking at compliance. That was 17 years ago. So I had been brought in to talk about compliance and see how, as a business, we are complying to then the Environmental Management and Coordination Act. And of course, within 3 months, I had cleared all the work, and I was bored. So as I was bored, wondering what to do next, I added everything I could in a year I had finished. I remember my then boss telling me, I think we need to promote you, because seriously, as an environment manager, it's not working. So preparedness meets opportunity. So the wind of change was blowing in Safaricom at that time. We were loading Safaricom 2.0. So 3 of us, myself, Sanda, and a lady called Wangeshi Kanjama. So at that time, we were coming at sustainability from the 3 pillars: environment, economics, and social, because Sanda was running the foundations. So we decided, let's go see the new CEO. You know, you don't just go see the new CEO and greet him and introduce yourself when you have nothing of value to say. So we told the new CEO, we want to do sustainability. We want to position this company and so on. And so the new CEO agreed, and the rest, as they say, is history. So at that time, whenever I reflect on the documents we made at that time, I'm always left tickled, because that time we thought we were the ish. When I look at our first sustainability ESG report, I am petrified. I think it was 160 pages, mishmash of everything, because I had learned sustainability in school, but I had never practiced. So this is 17 years ago, 18, because this year we are releasing our 14th Sustainable Business and ESG report. So it had a mishmash of everything. So we've refined the journey, and we've continued refining the journey. So along the way, Safaricom 3.0 is loading. You remember all your success in Safaricom 2.0, nobody knows, because now we have a new CEO in the house. It's COVID, and there's no you're going to sit and start the old strategy to start explaining to the new CEO, we are the best cream in this business, we've done this thing, nini. It wasn't going to work. So we had to look for a new way to also elevate to what the CEO was saying. And as the new CEO came in, he was talking about agile, he was talking about mission. We're going to be a mission-led company. None of us had had mission. I'd had my sister saying they had done mission. So I had never bothered to understand what this mission is. So traditionally, there were 2 types of people in Safaricom: those who quickly adapt to change and move, and those who said, atachoka tu. And we were watching the CEO from the sidelines. We are like, this mission thing, it won't work. But at that point, it gave me opportunity to pivot again and look at it from, what is the CEO saying? What is the board saying? And how do we then marry purpose meets profit? And so we started by discussing, what is purpose for us? Everyone knew purpose was the roof of Safaricom, and our purpose is to transform lives. So if you ask everyone in Safaricom, in 2.0, the new purpose is to transform lives. As the wind of change is going into 3.0, everyone starts assuming purpose ni wale watu wa foundation. Yeah? So everyone is like, purpose is not working. And then everyone is looking at the foundation. And at that time, I was also transitioning from sustainability to also taking care of the foundation. So I keep on asking my colleagues, how did I move from being the sustainability guru straight into the foundation guru? Yet I had spent so many years working in sustainability. So we started defining, what is our strategy as a business? How do we bring in mission thinking? How do we bring in agile? And then how do we anchor purpose? So we realized that purpose and how we work is what cements Safaricom's role as a catalyst for societal transformation. So we started sitting down and thinking through these things. Within Vodafone Group and Vodacom, we were always ahead in purpose, and we still are ahead in purpose. So we said, because we've been very good in this thing, we need to carry everyone along and rejig how we do things. So we started saying, purpose before profits, reputation before revenues. These are things we used to say all the time, but we had never opened the roof of the house and categorically put in and anchor our purpose strategy. So we said, to simplify this, remember the first 3 people who went to see the other CEO? We went back to the tradition of what ESG is. And you know what makes me happy in life? When such a new term comes, everyone is like, oh, our ESG, our ESG. People just moved from sustainability to ESG because sustainability gives you the bigger picture. Then purpose gives you the social contract to operate. So we decided to anchor our purpose strategy into 3 key pillars, with 2 pillars being the main, but the base of the strategy. So 1, planet. We're going to catalyze a net positive future for all by 2030. The mission statement for 2030 is Africa's leading purpose-led technology company. So how will we be Africa's leading purpose-led technology company if we don't break down exactly what we are doing? And that's what the mission thinking helped us anchor. So we have planet on 1 pillar. We have people, and we are saying we're investing in people and transforming society for people, and then underpinned by doing the right thing. So what have we done? We've just rejigged E, S, and G, environment, social, and governance, into a way that speaks into our mission and our purpose of transforming lives. So when we started discussing purpose, we said we want to catalyze a net positive future. I remember when Michael Joseph came and said, when you have to invest in this country, you need to come with a generator. I think he said a generator, an off-road car, and something, and all Kenyans went ballistic. But the truth is, up to now, we still have generators at Safaricom because we need the generators. So we started by saying, those days, let's measure our impact. What is it that Safaricom contributes to the environmental pollution? Remember, when I started, we were doing compliance. So to be the company that is going to be Africa's leading purpose-led technology company by 2030, we have to level up. So we said we're going to look at climate action. We're going to look at circular economy. We're going to look at conservation and restoration of biodiversity and ecosystems. Somebody asked me, why would you be conserving and restoring ecosystems? And I said, we operate in this country. And as a responsible business, there is no way we can sit back and watch a society not thriving, because we strongly believe that if the society is thriving, we thrive along with the society. And so we started saying, how do we then break these things? We looked at the Sustainable Development Goals. In 2015, when they came in, we were looking at them, we're like, what can these goals do for us? Then as we are brainstorming, we realized, this is 2016, it's not about what the goals can do for us, it's about what can we contribute to making the world a better place. And at that time, we needed to elevate purpose, to elevate our mission. And to date, we still need to motivate. And I liked what my colleague Jackie was saying. If you're in a mundane job and you have no bigger picture to work towards, then chances of feeling like is 100%. So when you have a purpose like we have, where we are saying all of us are contributing to a global idea, we are contributing to the global space. So what are the key targets we said under planet? So we said all our base transceiver stations, I think by now we are at 7,000 plus, over 5,000 of them have diesel generators, plus the main office we have diesel generators. So we said, let's now do a life cycle assessment. And it's always good to have a new CEO because they see things from a different lens. So again, the committee of delegation, we went to the new CEO, now with new people. So 2 of the people have gone. So it was me and the finance guy and the, so we went and still the CEO. We need to move to solar. You need to make a bold decision. And we said 5,000 sites are going to be on solar. We are dedicating our diesel generators, because anyway, we are heading to 25 years. At that time, we're heading to 21, 22, and these generators have served their purpose. So as a strategy, we sat down, developed the strategy that says the initial cost of investing into a solar panel is expensive, but in the long run, we will make our money and we will enjoy. And if Kenya Power is here, sorry, We said if there's no power or anything, we will always have reliable power. And so having a courageous CEO with a courageous team of leaders, they listened and said, you look like you know something. You look like you know what you're saying. Because I don't understand numbers. I understand the bigger picture. I understand the environment. So I carried the numbers guy. And now we are going to convert our 5,000 sites into solar. So immediately you say that, you quickly put it in a sustainability report so that nobody in future can say, I didn't agree. So that's how you tie the business to ensure that it goes. And then you go tell the board, yeah, in the CEO's paper, that we're going to convert. So the board will hold us accountable to converting 5,000 sites. Then at some point in the previous regime, the president would say, oh, when we did the test, we realized we don't have many trees in the country. There are some counties that don't even have a forest, a gazetted forest. So we started saying, when we did our science-based calculations for climate, for carbon, we realized at the rate at which we are going then, we will never get to being a net positive. Because first you have to get to being a net zero emitting company, then now work towards positivity. So when we did our calculations and we brought in an expert, somebody who understood the science to help us, they told us at the rate you're going, by 2074, you will still not be there. So we had to go back and make decisions. And one of the decisions I've said was the solar. Then we said, in case we miss the target, let's start growing our trees to offset. Because at one time, the carbon exchange was big, and people were buying offsets. So we said, and I know European companies still buy offsets, even companies within the Vodafone family. So we said, let's grow our trees so that by 2030, 2040, we can show scientifically we've removed the air conditioning, we've put in solar PVs, we've done this, but there's this little fraction left. So that's still on the planet. So we said we're going to grow 5 million trees. Then we said, what else do we need to do? So we looked at Kenya and said, God has blessed us with hydro and geo. And so we said 95% of our sites are going to be on green energy. So those are the bold decisions when you start looking at purpose versus profits and making purpose how you make the decisions. So that's what we said under Planet. Planet is easy. Many companies can do Planet with their eyes closed. Then we went to people. Investing in people, transforming lives. In people, we are looking at our people and all the people within our ecosystem, including the people in Kenya and now Ethiopia. So we started saying digital inclusion. How are we including everyone? At that time, when 2020, when Safaricom 3.0 was loading, Peter started questioning. You know, when you're seated in a company, you guys don't realize you've missed a lot of things because you are so happy with each other, kumbaya moments, we're just moving. So Peter started asking, you guys are saying digital inclusion. How many people on the network? Show me numbers, data-driven insights. Let me tell you, the old Safaricom, we were very happy in not sharing numbers, but in the agile thinking and mission thinking, only a few people like how are held to numbers. Us would come, give numbers. If you looked at the trends in the sustainability report, we'd even write, sorry, we missed it. We go back, recalculate years back. But now we knew there's a new sheriff in town. We get our numbers right. So digital inclusion, we had 30% of people on the network who are on smartphones. And we are saying we're going to be Africa's leading purpose-led technology company. We've left 70% of Kenyans behind. So we said, how are we going to rectify this? We came up with strategies. That time, I think the first one was Google and somebody, I think Facebook. They're like, okay, we're going to de-risk ensuring access to smart devices. The discussion started changing because of having a purpose-led mindset. How do we leave no Kenyan behind? East African Device Assembly Plant was born to make affordable to assemble affordable devices so that many other people can enjoy the digital world. Then we looked at financial inclusion and health and said by 2030, if we're standing at 2030, and we look behind, what do we want to see? Financial inclusion is fantastic. So we started having the moral discussion. Fuliza, we led with Fuliza. if we are a responsible business as we are, why didn't we start in wealth creation? Yeah? We gave people Fuliza, and Fuliza was a need. I remember when Fuliza was launched that January, school fees was from Fuliza. Fuliza was never meant to be your day-to-day borrowing tool. Fuliza, I personally left Fuliza at one point simply because I was addicted to borrowing. At that time, my limit was, I think, 45 or 48. We were at the top at that point. And even if I had money in the bank, I was feeling lazy. Fuliza was meant to push you. You're in the bank, you're in the queue on a till, and the bill is, so the timekeeper, please remind me, you know I can give you stories the whole day. And the bill is this much, you just need a little to finish paying. That was the purpose of Fuliza. Mama Mboga, you are going to Marikiti in the morning, you just need to borrow. That's why if you look at the interest rate for all day-to-day borrowing, if you borrow and pay, there's no much interest rate. That was the spirit. So Mama Mboga, you want to go start your business, you get into Marikiti, you Fuliza, you sell, you pay, tomorrow, then you grow wealth. So we started saying as a business, by 2030, we need to be talking about financial health. It is not about including people. We've already included you. M-Pesa came and found people at 26% financial inclusion, disrupted banks. We moved to 86, 89 inclusion, but what is the financial health of our people? Borrowing to gamble, to bet, borrowing to drink. That wasn't the spirit of Fuliza. So now, by 2030, we are saying we are working on digital inclusion and health and digital training. So we are doing something called Wezesha Mama. We realized mothers in the rural areas are left behind. Where is your husband? At the marketplace with the phone. So how are we including you digitally and financially? Yeah. So we started training women and saying you can come in groups as chamas, you can do this. So we train them on digital inclusion, we train them on finance, we train them on how to save, entrepreneurship. Because give a woman a shilling, nani kama mama, they multiply it and the family is fine. Then we started looking within the business. Diversity, equity, inclusion. People hire people like themselves. Yeah? You like somebody who's like you, who thinks like you. And so we started saying, this is a country we know. Let us map the tribes of Kenya. How come hatuna Wahindi Safaricom? You know, oh, where are the Rendiles? So we started looking and saying, we need to include everyone in. So we went for digital diversity, equity, and inclusion. But how do you measure what you have not, how do you manage what you've not measured? So we started tracking women. Do you know what we realized? Because of the cutthroat nature of Safaricom, women are many at entry level. But then you go deliver, the guys overtake you. By the time you come back, you've gone to deliver again. So we've included you, you are enough at the entry level, but the pipeline to the top, there are no women. So when Peter came, we were struggling. At that time, we were at 34, then some women left, we went down to 24, and he told me, by 2025, we will be at 45% women in leadership. I looked at my CEO, I was like, this one doesn't know us. Where are we getting these people? And by March 2025, we were at 45% women in leadership. And what did we do? Deliberate policies. When you have a gap in your CV, we're not going to ask you, ulikuwa wapi? We know either you are giving birth, raising the children, or doing something meaningful. You could have just taken a mental health break. So we don't ask you irrelevant questions. We're looking at what skill are you bringing to the table. Then we started what Jackie said, one more skill. So maybe the women, and this cut across women in business also in Safaricom, maybe the women were very good at delivering flowers. So we said, in our supply chain, if you deliver flowers versus me who's building a mast, and that time we also made another commitment, 10% of spend will be on women. as we are doing this analysis, me, I'm panicking. I'm just seeing the way the big boys, Europeans, wherever in the network are taking the money. So we started a Mentor the Women program. And so those who are delivering flowers, we try to convert them into basics of engineering. And the one thing I love most, if you get, and I'm not saying you go refuse fiber when somebody is bringing fiber to your house and say, I want a woman, but the women want it. You know, the guys just chop up the thing and move. The women, we align it because we know how we don't want our houses looking combo. So the women started doing these jobs. We are not there yet, so we are around 4% of the spend. By 2030, I am hopeful we'll be at 10. And then at times, you know, when you're working in a journey, you realize this target, maybe we add, and special interest groups, so that we move together, because it's not just women. So we said, in our supply chain, 10% will go to women and special interest groups. Then we looked around and said, who are we missing? And said, okay, we operate in Kenya and Ethiopia, now more Kenya, we operate in Kenya, so we need sustainable community investments. So at that time, the foundation prided itself in doing this big, audacious M-Pesa Foundation Academy type of project. So here comes a new CEO, and he's looking at our strategy, and it's not making sense to him why we are not fixing the base. So he's like, okay, so you've used all this money on this school. We are like, yes. You know, that was our flagship, our pride. And we are wondering, why isn't he impressed? Yeah? We've spent a lot of money here. So the board are also asking the same questions. They're like, okay, so this is the money. Where is it going? You have two foundations, so how are you sustainably investing in the communities? So we had to change strategy and say, where do we fix? How do you know where a toilet of a school is? I was going to say, how do you know the location of a school? So I've given you the answer. How do you know the location of a school in Kenya? Smell the toilet. You can smell those pit latrines from there. And those of us who went to boarding at primary, because I used to remove your sweater, give it to your classmates to hold before you go in. I know some of you can't relate, but me and those of us from the days of the pyramid, we can relate. So we decided that we're going to change tact and give many Kenyans an opportunity through our sustainable community investments. And my trustee is here. She can confirm the things I'm saying, because she's a trustee of M-Pesa Foundation. Patricia is here. Jackie is a trustee of Safaricom Foundation. So we said, how do we ensure that we transform the lives of that Kenyan who would never have the opportunity? So we said the biggest equalizer in society is education. If you ask Kenyans, where can we heavy lift? They say, heavy lift for my children. Give my child an education, even if it's that one child. And that was the mindset of creating M-Pesa Foundation Academy. Now we had run the academy, we could see, by the way, next year we're celebrating 10 years. Our champion girl, we put somewhere, thank you, we picked this girl in Embu. She had never seen a flush toilet in this day and age. When you come to the academy, we train you from Inicho, you flush here, you switch on the water. Because where we get the kids is really where nobody ever expects. Our star girl, we gave her an opportunity to go to America. Guess where she works? So history will judge us right at some point. Guess where she works? No, not Safaricom. She's in America. Why are you coming back to Safaricom to compete with Karen? She's in Goldman Sachs. Yes. And last week she invited us, I think 2 weeks ago, to her destination wedding in Diani. Marrying this other finance guy from South Africa. I was like, wait, from the depths of Mbeere North, in the dust, this girl has risen that much. And that's just one of the community investments. So we realized, how many more can we uplift? So we came up with a new strategy and said, in our sustainable community investments, we are going to invest in education. So very soon you'll hear us saying things like citizens of the future. At the academy, we create leaders, thinkers, and doers, and we decided we're going to heavy lift in education. So every time you see us, we'll be bringing down all those Matope schools. I think the CEO's target is 600 schools. I'm struggling. because he gave me 5 years to reduce 600. I've done 100. I never knew building. Engineers, hello? Where? At that point, we realized the spirit is willing, but vitu kwa ground. Even without an engineer's eye, I am looking at this school, Lubulu. I'm like, who the hell designed this thing? With my 35 million is gone. Anyway, we also realized we need plumbers, we need carpenters. So as a foundation, what did we do? We said we are gonna transform education. At the basic level, we're fixing primary schools. It is so bad. As a business, we're going to be Africa's leading purpose-led technology company, and that child in that school has never even seen a computer, leave alone the iPads they were promised and whatever, laptops. So we decided we're going to embed technology, but in a different way. First, we build the hardware. We renovate any mad schools that are here to give these children dignity. Our children need dignity. If I could transform one thing, I'd bring out all the toilets in those schools and put decent toilets, but I can't. But with the foundation, we are trying. So education, we are fixing the base. At the high school level, you get children want to study ICT. The teacher has drawn the computer and its part. And you're expecting this child to compete with that boy in alliance on computer studies. So we decided we are going to build science labs, integrated resource centers, and do ICT labs to give this child a chance not only to compete with I went to alliance, but also that child in Singapore. That is the high school heavy lifting we are doing. At the university level, we asked Kenyans, remember I said plumbing, I'm struggling. Would you want to go to your local Shikoko Polytechnic? They said, we don't want to be localites. So we asked them, where would you feel comfortable getting the certificate? And the Kenyan youth told us, don't, and when somebody said, challenging you, when you said the Gen Zs don't know, they know. I've never met people who know what they want better than us. I think my generation, we never knew what we wanted. That's why when your father said, go study law, you went. Go study this, you went. These young people told us, I'm not going to stay 4 years in a university. Give me a technical skill I can learn. So at the universities, we've partnered with universities to reestablish TVET centers in the universities. Yeah? So far we have done, we've signed an agreement with EMBO, and I don't want to give the numbers because I look like I'm bragging, but I'll tell you. We are giving between 256 million to 80 million to the smallest. Where there's a school of nursing, I feel nursing is a skill people should have. These are skills when any jobs go, you will need a nurse. So we are saying if we are going to absorb the youth of Kenya into moving from learning to earning, we have to give them skills that they will use. Yeah? And so at the university level, setting up TVET centers, centers of excellence, even our schools. By the way, not to brag, the president called me one day, Mimi Karen, and said, come with your plans to State House. So me, I march in there with my team. We get the public works team. So we are asked, how much is your classroom? So I'm saying, okay, our classroom, before you came in was 1.2, now it's 1.9, fully furnished, nini. But I was saying a point that the classroom is 1.9. Then the public works team and my team now were seated in front of the president showing what each is doing. Public works classroom was 3 times mine. Now it did not have a single desk. I'm not saying making anyone look bad. I'm just sharing what I see. So after we did our classrooms, so far we have gone on to build almost 100 schools. And for me and the board, the joy of this is when you have different thoughts, diversity of thoughts on a board, you help see things. I went to Alliance, Wako. I went to Butere, Tuko. I went to whatever, Wako. So we are all looking at the whole array of what we can do. So at the universities, it's TVET, and then we are also working with TVET centers. And the youth told us, we are not going to stay for long. I just want to show I went to University of Nairobi, and I did plumbing. Yeah? They don't want anything like Siju, us who want to study forever. They don't have that time. And most of them come out of there and they go. So as we transform society, that is some of the work we are doing. That is citizens of the future. Then we went out again and asked Kenyans, what else can we do as we transform communities? And they said health. So M-Pesa Foundation and Safaricom Foundation, we went and started looking at the health data in this country. The data is there. Kenya Bureau of Statistics has everything. Kenya Health Population Data has everything. So we said, let us look at the maternal child rate, because we strongly believe no woman should die bringing a life. And every child deserves to live after the 5th year, because everyone has a purpose in this life. So we started fixing maternal health centers. Have you ever seen a woman is in distress and then the boda guy needs the leg in theater? So you will wait as you who wants to give birth, because the theater is not a maternal theater. So we started converting many places to put maternal theaters in this country. Here in Mombasa, feel free to go to Coast General and see the work we have done there. So we had to understand the doctors in the room, pediatrics. I even know we need CPAPs. So I see a lot of CPAP requests, and I know this thing will help a child in distress. Then we started hearing things like, we need bilirubin machines. Yeah? And somebody else added, when the baby is born, we need a high dependency unit for them. Then somebody told us we need a kangaroo room for the mother and father. So we've gone improving. Within Coast, this region, Lamu, when we started working in there, the maternal rate, deaths and newborns was bad. I remember one time in Lamu, we were there live, and there was a dead person on the boat, a mother who was going to deliver. And we are supposed to get into that boat. So these people of us who come from Western, there's no way we are sitting with a dead person. So we had to wait for this person to go. Then we asked, what happened? They could not get this mother from CU to King Fahad on time. As a responsible business that invests in our societies, what did we do? We went and got the first water ambulance, fully equipped, high-speed boat that can pick a woman anywhere within those islands in Lamu and get them. Then we said, have we done enough? Why not fix those hospitals so that we curb the issue? And so we're going to launch some of the things we've done in health, but also I heard there's an oncologist here. We're going to have a health roundtable. And as a business, we ask ourselves, yes, I see you waving, we ask ourselves, what can we do to heavy lift health in Kenya? We've been talking about precision medical intervention. We intervened. Yesterday, we were listening to the governors in Homa Bay. Yes, the devolution conference. Did anyone hear anything? Have you guys followed? There was a big up to Safaricom, but it was ours as M-Pesa Foundation, as the foundations. Apparently, our interventions in Homa Bay have paid fruit. We only took 3 hospitals in that county and redid them in different places. And the governor said our intervention has reduced, I think in the last 8 months, there's been no dead mother or child. I was clapping for myself when I'm like, hey, M-Pesa Foundation, Safaricom, well done. And she indeed said it is one of our programs. So we've changed tact, because previously we do 1 hospital. Kilifi has the worst indicators. Kilifi had the worst indicators. So we sat down, and recently our trustee will tell you, they approved for us to go into Kilifi as a county and transform all the health centers in that place, introducing modern maternity units. Because if you look at the distances in Kilifi from the health center to the main hospital, it's far. So we said we're going to bring intervention closer to the people. So profit meets purpose in building sustainable and innovative enterprises. Just that she's made me stop, but I would have said more on the enterprise side. But if I look at our record as a foundation or as a business, the number of enterprises we have helped stand on the shoulder of Safaricom, little started from Safaricom. We gave them the marketing money, we helped them. Those days, as I said, we were foolish. We should have taken a stake, but anyway. And those who know. And there are many, many other social enterprises that we have supported. And I just wanted to conclude by saying on AI, when we started as a foundation experimenting AI in health, we were met with huge resistance, huge. Because what we had done, you would come into our medical camps, and by the way, we do medical camps, and they're just not your normal camp of, so we have a bus that has an X-ray, dental unit. Please, when you hear our medical camps, please come and see. We do a lot, including fistula repairs for women. This year, I think the board gave me a target of repairing 700. The other day, I saw another 1,000 women, because we strongly believe we can eradicate fistula in this country. No woman should suffer. So we want to eradicate those basics. If we're going to be Africa's leading purpose tech, we need to get and fix the foundation. So I was talking about AI. So we had this model. When you come in, we take your blood pressure, blah, blah, blah. Then you go look into the screen. Then later on, we correlate what we've seen here and here. So we're working on AI to help people. So we were told stop, because people had fears on AI. I remember personally, I used to have fun looking at myself. Then I can see my stress level is 6 out of 10. Yeah, so it was good to know, are you stressed, by just looking. But because we are who we are and we integrate technology, what did we do? We now have connected telemedicine. When you come to our camp and we can't understand, not me, the doctors and the county guys can't understand, we have connected doctors in India and a hospital in India, as well as county, so they sit and discuss your condition when you are there, until we are able to improve AI. I have many more stories, but let me end there. Because the amount of work we do for us always shows us that purpose will always beat profits. If you focus on profits only, then you've missed the boat. So you have to put purpose and the profits will follow. If you use shared value thinking, where you look at what is the issue in society, and innovate, bring every asset of your business, bring every asset you have and money onto the issue, you will become sustainable. M-Pesa is the best example I can give. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Karen.